Hey guys, I'm Steff and welcome back to my beauty stash. Today we're going to be chatting concealers. I am going to share with you my top 5 current favorite concealers, and all of these have been in my stash for quite a while. I think I have one that has been in my stash maybe for the last 4 months or 5 months, and that's the newest one. So I've definitely tried out all of these concealers that I'm going to be recommending. I do have one honorable mention that is a relatively new concealer, not just to my stash, but in general. It just came out a few weeks ago. And then I'm going to be sharing with you guys some correctors and concealers that I use for actual spot concealing. So I kind of grouped this a little bit, but the top 5 that I'm going to be sharing with you are concealers that I use more so for my under eye area, and then just for highlighting the high points of my face. So that would be like the center of my forehead, a little bit down here on my nose, maybe a little bit on the cupid's bow, right here on the chin, and maybe just dragging it down a little bit right here, wherever I'm wanting to brighten. So those are concealers that we're primarily going to focus on, but you can use these concealers however you want. They are definitely very versatile concealers, as are all of them that I'm going to be showing you. So don't feel like they're just going to be for under eye areas. No, feel free to use these however you feel is best for you and for your skin type. Now, I will definitely have all of the ones that I'm showing you linked in the description box of this video. Some of those links might be affiliate links. So if you do end up purchasing, I thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. And I think that is all I need to tell you guys in this intro. So, oh, yes, let me just preface this. I am 39 years old and I do have normal to oily skin. Oily primarily in my T-zone. And right now my major concerns are my large visible pores and the fine lines that are under my eyes. I am always on the hunt, guys, for a good concealer that's gonna blur, brighten, and just make the under eye area look flawless while still being lightweight and providing a decent amount of coverage. And of course, I want to cover whatever blemishes pop up on my skin for that day. So these concealers, guys, have really been tried and true in my stash. Some I've been using for years. Some have been repurchased time and time again. I can't even count how many times I've repurchased them. And some are relatively new. Like I said, one of the newest ones came out just a few weeks ago. So I can't wait to share everything with you. I've talked long enough in this intro. If you guys want to see my current favorite concealers, keep on watching. So let's start first with the top 5. These are my go-to concealers that, again, I use for the under eye area and to highlight the high points of my face. And they are in no particular order. So let's start off with one. I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked to see it in the top 5 because when I tried it last year, it was just okay for me. I have in recent months been giving this concealer a second chance, and it has definitely redeemed itself. And I am talking about the NYX Born to Glow concealer. I see some of my favorite YouTubers. One of them in particular is Mercier from Mel's Makeup and Style. She is always raving about this concealer, and it is because of Mel that I'm giving this a second chance, and it sure has redeemed itself. I use the shade Alabaster, and I'm going to go ahead and swatch it for you. This is what the applicator looks like. It's one of those little sponge tip applicators. And I'm going to start over here on this side because I'm going to swatch them all across my hand. But that is what Alabaster looks like. This is like a medium coverage concealer. It's very lightweight, and it's definitely going to give you a nice radiant finish. So more of like a glow. But if you don't want it to have all of that glow, all of that radiance, just go in and set it with your favorite translucent setting powder, and you're going to find that this is just going to wear beautifully throughout the day. If you want more coverage, you can build it up, and that's usually what I tend to do under my eye area. But but feel free to use it as you will. This one comes in quite a few shades, so maybe you want to pick up 2 different shades, one that you're going to use for your under eye area and for highlighting your face, and then another one that you're going to use maybe to spot conceal. So like for me, I like to spot conceal in this area right here, but I don't necessarily use this one to do that. And I could, but I would need to get a darker shade in order to do that, a shade that is more my skin tone. So just wanted to throw that out there, but this is Alabaster in the NYX Born to Glow Concealer. Highly recommend checking this one out. Next up is a concealer that I've had for a while, and I think some of you have this and enjoy it as well. This is from Jeffree Star Causemetics, and this is his Magic Concealer. Is it just Magic? Definitely Magic. I think we're just going to go with Magic Concealer, and I have the shade C5 in this one. The packaging is really, really nice on this, and this, be careful with this because this is a little bit sharp, but the concealer, the product that you're getting in here is really, really good. I mean, you want coverage. This concealer, and there is C5 right there, this concealer is going to cover everything. Now, the shade I have, that's the one thing I will say. Let me talk about the shades in this concealer because he has a lot of shades in this concealer, which is a great thing. But I feel like the shades aren't numbered correctly or they don't correspond with the description. I feel like this is a lighter shade than what I was expecting to get. So for me, I definitely need to purchase maybe 2 shades darker because I feel like even though it is a light shade, and even though, you know, I do want it to be a lighter shade for my under eye area and to highlight the high points of my face, I still feel like it's a little too light. So I'm going to want to be checking out, I think, the C7, perhaps C8, and see how that works. He also has a new loose setting powder. It kind of has like a radiance finish to it. So I think when I order my new Magic Concealer, I'm going to order that new powder that he has as well, because I've been wanting to try that powder out for a while. I just haven't placed an order yet for any JSC products, but this concealer, guys, is definitely full coverage, and it lays so beautifully under the eye area, especially if you set it with his Magic Star translucent setting powder. That combo is fantastic. That is such a blurring combo for the under eye area. This is not drying. It's not going to be drying to that under eye area, and neither is that powder. Like, the powder is so finely milled, and whenever I wear them together, like, the fine lines are non-existent. It's just amazing. He created a really good formula with this, as did he with his powder. So I'm definitely going to be picking up another shade of this Jeffree Star Magic Concealer, but this one, if you haven't tried it, you can find his products on Beautylish, so that is where I'll have it linked to, and I'll also link the powder there in case you want to try them both. That is a great combo, but I've worn his concealer with other translucent setting powders like the Wet n Wild one, and it pairs perfectly with it. So if you're looking for something really full coverage that's not going to make you incredibly dry but still give you like a matte finish, this one from Jeffree Star Causemetics is a winner. Next up is definitely one of my favorite concealers, and I've had this in my stash for about a year. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct, and I use the shade 1N in this one. This is definitely a concealer that you can do everything with. If you need to spot conceal, you can do it with this one. I actually use this to spot conceal as well, because you're going to see the shade here is a lot darker than the other 2 I have. So there is a 1N in the Dior, there's Jeffree Star, and then there's NYX. So you can totally see that there is a shade difference. The Dior is more my skin color than it is a highlighting concealer. And all I would have to do is get a shade lighter, which I think there's only 1 shade lighter in this Dior one. And that could act more as a brightening concealer. But I prefer it. I don't mind using this 1 shade all over my face. Sometimes that's the look that you're going for. Sometimes you can add the brightness in under the eye area in other ways, and I will explain that a little bit later in the video. But this Dior Forever Concealer is just phenomenal. It's not over drying. It doesn't necessarily leave a matte finish. I think it definitely leaves more of a natural finish, but it just looks beautiful under the eye area. It covers up great, especially spot concealing for me right in this area. It plays well with the rest of my makeup products like primers, foundations, and setting powders. I just really love it. I tend to always set this one though. That is how I have found it works better for me that way, but you might feel like you don't want to set it. And if you don't want to set it, then no problem. This really doesn't budge. This is a pretty solid concealer. It's definitely been one of my favorites. And I am just never going to be without my Dior Forever Skin Correct. So my last two concealers in this top 5 are both from Laura Mercier, and I'm going to show you the newest one to my stash, which I also reviewed and wear tested here on my channel, so I'll definitely have that linked up above. But this is the like new and improved Secret Camouflage Concealer. Now, the original Camouflage Concealer came in a compact form, and it had 2 different shades on each side. One shade was larger than the other, so I think the all over skin color shade was the largest, and then it had a brightening side. I think that is discontinued because this is supposed to be taking its place. I kind of like this formula and packaging a lot better. So you have a dual-sided concealer here. One side is going to be for brightening, and then the other side is going to be for correcting. So let me show you the side that is for correcting, and it's just like a little stick applicator, which is perfect. It makes it really easy to wear this. So that is the correcting shade right there. Now let me show you the brightening shade next to it. And there is the brightening shade. So you don't have to use them, like you don't have to use the brightener as a brightener on top of the correct. You can very easily just use the brightener under your eyes and be good to go. Or you can use the shade correct, or you can use them both. You do however this fits into your makeup routine, but I do like that it is dual-ended, and this is such a creamy, smooth formula. I use my fingertips to blend this out, except when I'm going to be applying it like to my forehead or to my nose. Of course, I'll use a damp beauty sponge, but for my under eye area, I just like patting it out with my ring finger, and it does a great job. This is going to be more of like a medium coverage concealer, but you can definitely build it up, and if you pair them together each side, I think you're going to get the coverage that you're looking for. It's definitely lightweight, and it's definitely more on like the semi-matte side of concealers, but I have been really enjoying it now these last few months, and I'm really happy to see that this is replacing the bulky palette that this original concealer used to come in. Now, the other Laura Mercier concealer that I have in my stash, and I've had this in my stash for quite a while. This is definitely a repeat purchase for me, and this is her Flawless Fusion Ultra Long Wear Concealer. I feel like you're going to get more coverage with this one versus this one. The Secret Camouflage Concealer, I forgot to tell you the shade name. This is shade 1N, and the shade that I'm using in the Flawless Fusion, it is also 1N, but you can definitely see there is a slight bit of a shade difference. So this is 1N in Flawless Fusion, and these two are 1N in the Secret Camouflage. So a little bit of a difference, not too much, because these two lash shades, they look pretty similar to each other. But if you're looking for a fuller coverage than what the Secret Camouflage is going to give you, then I would definitely check out the Flawless Fusion. This is just one of those all-around great concealers that just never lets you down. It's always going to work. I've never had any issues with it, pairing it with setting powders or wearing it by itself for that matter, or foundations. It just always works, and it always does a good job. I feel like this is going to be more of like a natural, maybe to semi-matte finish. So it'll be up to you whether you feel like setting it or not. But this has been in my stash for at least 2 years, if not longer. I have already repurchased it 3 times now. So this is definitely like one of my ride or die concealers. It's always going to have a place here in Steff's Beauty Stash. So that rounds out my top 5. Those are definitely some of my most favorite tried and true concealers that I know are going to work 10 times out of 10. I do want to give you guys a quick honorable mention to a new find, actually a new concealer in general. This is the Thrive Causemetics Buildable Blur HD Creaseless Concealer. I reviewed this about 2 weeks ago on my channel. I also used or reviewed the Thrive HD Loose Setting Powder alongside it, and I actually bought them together. It was like a little set. I love that powder so much, and I love this concealer so much. I am so glad that I tried it out. I've been wanting to try Thrive Causemetics for such a long time, but I think I waited for the perfect time with the release of this concealer. And let me go ahead and swatch it for you. The shade that I have here is Fair. And there you can see what Fair looks like. It's the one over here on the end. This is a great concealer that's going to definitely provide full coverage, but while it is full coverage, it is not going to be heavy or cakey under the eye area. It's going to be brightening. It's also going to help to blur and smooth the look of fine lines. I prefer this better set. I like the way it looks with the Thrive Causemetics setting powder, but I've also tried it with like my Nakia Joy Cosmetics setting powder. I've tried it with my Too Faced Peach Perfect setting powder, and it works just as great with those as it does with its sister Thrive setting powder. I'm just loving this concealer. I'm loving the coverage, I'm loving the shade, and I'm just loving everything that it is able to do for my under eye area, as well as the other places that I lay it down on my skin. I just think it's a beautiful concealer. It's definitely one worth checking out, especially if you haven't tried Thrive Causemetics the way I have. I picked up the concealer, the powder, and I picked up the mascara. And I know this is not about mascara, but guys, this Thrive Causemetics mascara is phenomenal. I cannot stop wearing it. This is the Liquid Lash Extensions mascara. It is a tubing mascara. This stays on all day until you're ready to take it off. It just separates, it lengthens, it thickens, it gives me the volume and fullness. This is a great mascara. And guys, this is not a video about mascara, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But those 3 Thrive Causemetics products, those are fantastic. All right, now I want to talk about correctors, and I'm fairly new to the world of correctors. I don't really reach for them all that often, but I have 3 here in my stash that are doing a pretty good job, that are earning their place here in my stash. The first corrector that I got recently, and I say recently, that was during the last Sephora sale, which was what, a month ago now? This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish Corrector, and I have the shade Fair, which is the lightest one. I'm gonna swatch it back here. This you can wear alone, or you can wear it under your favorite concealer, maybe one of them from up here. You can set it or you can wear it as is, but it definitely helps to conceal the dark circles and it doesn't settle into fine lines. I have been wearing this both ways. I've been wearing this as my under eye concealer and I've been wearing it as a corrector with a concealer on top, and I've had no problems. It took me a while to buy this one. I had my eye on it for so long, but I thought, you know what? There's a sale going on. Let me treat myself. Let me try it, and I'm so glad that I did. Also, a new one is the Fenty Eye Fix, or Bright Fix, I should say, Eye Brightener, and I have the shade Rose Quartz in this one. This is the lightest shade that they have, and I want to say there are 16 shades. Yeah, there's 16 shades in this one. I have already reviewed it and wear tested it on my channel, so I'll definitely have it linked up above. But look, you only need the smallest amount. I definitely squeezed it out way too much, but that is Rose Quartz right there. And let me see if I can bring this back here. Like, it is definitely a brightening under eye concealer slash corrector. It's labeled as a corrector, but I have worn this as my concealer under the eye area and it's fine. It's perfect. You don't need to set this if you don't feel like setting it. Sometimes I lightly set it. I went to the beach this weekend and this is the concealer that I wore with my tinted moisturizer, and that was it. And I didn't even set it. It did a really good job that way. This is something that you might just want to do on top of your concealer as well. So maybe you're going to be using the Dior Forever Skin Correct in the shade 1N. And since this one is more my skin tone, if I want to brighten up that under eye area, I can take a little bit of my Fenty Bright Fix Eye Brightener, again, shade Rose Quartz, and just pat a little bit on the inner corners, and that'll really brighten up my look. I even tried this in that wear test video that I did. You can even apply it to the center of the forehead. You can use it as a highlighter over here on the sides of your cheeks, on top of your cheekbones, highlight the cupid's bow, the chin, whatever you want to do. I'm not applying it right now to my face just because I have powder and everything on my face, but trust me, if you watch that video, you'll see how I use it in a couple different ways, and I have been enjoying it since. Like, I've really been reaching for it, and I really do love the packaging on this, that little clear applicator. It's like a little squeezy tube. Really nice product from Fenty. I also want to mention this other product from Tarte, and I have the mini size, and this is the Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand. This is something that I would recommend getting in the mini size just to see how you're gonna like it. And this is something that I would recommend pairing alongside any of my top 5 concealers, because this is going to help brighten and give your under eye area that dewy, hydrated appearance. And I have the shade Alight in this one, and it's just gonna give a beautiful glow to the skin, wherever you're going to place it. So even, like I just said, with the Fenty Bright Fix, if you want to put this Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand right here on the tops of your cheekbones to add that light effect to the cheekbones without it being like a shimmer highlight like how I have going on, this is something that you can definitely do on top of your tinted moisturizer, on top of your concealer, foundation, whatever it is that you're wearing that you want to give a more illuminated look, more of like a glowy, dewy look to your skin. You can definitely use this Tarte Glow Wand for that. I like using it, pairing it with the Tarte Shape Tape, the original and the Ultra Creamy, as well as these other concealers that I've mentioned. Some of the concealers I mentioned are more matte concealers or more natural to semi-matte, and sometimes I want that nice glow. Adding a product like this Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand is going to be perfect for getting that illuminated effect. Now, the last category as far as concealers go, these concealers are holy grails for me. These concealers are like specialty concealers, I guess you can say, in my stash, where I don't necessarily use them every day, but when I need them, they're there for me. And these are mainly what I use to spot conceal, meaning the areas I have right here, or if I have a blemish on my nose. Whatever the case is, these are my spot concealers. But one of my favorites for spot concealing is the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Longwear Concealer. And I have the shade C5 in this one. This is the jumbo version, and it's only $10. You can find it on the Ulta Beauty website. And let me show you what that shade looks like. This one is perfect for me. It's right here. This is C5. That is perfect for me when I want to spot conceal. When I want to apply that on top of my foundation, on top of my tinted moisturizer, and then of course I will set it with whatever translucent setting powder I'm using, and I get great coverage without needing to go in with a full coverage foundation. I love this one. I didn't necessarily love it under my eye area, but I love it as a spot concealer. Another concealer that I have had this, well, not this particular one, but I have had this Bare Minerals concealer in my stash, I think, since it was released. And this is the Bare Minerals concealer in the shade Well Rested. This is intended for the under eye area, and it is a powder-based concealer, but if I was to apply this under my eye area, it would be a little too dark. It wouldn't necessarily brighten, just because I am more of a fair to light skin tone. But somebody with a deeper complexion than mine could very easily use this the way it is intended to be used, as an under eye concealer slash corrector. Now, this being a powder concealer, it is going to conceal whatever blemish you have, and I wish I had something, and now I wish I had like a pimple on my face that I could cover, that way you could see. I guess let me try this little area right here, but I think it's gonna look a little funny. All I do is I take a very small amount, like that's even too much. So you swirl it in the cap, and then you just lightly, you're not gonna be able to see this because But you can see how it's taking off the color of the blush that I had there. But this works great, especially when you have a fresh pimple, maybe one that you just popped or one that just popped up itself and you're not ready to extract it yet. This powder concealer, a little bit goes a long way. It will definitely take away the redness and it will stay like that all day. If I know I have a stubborn pimple on my face, I pack this in my purse, make sure to take the brush, and maybe the pimple is right here around my mouth. And so I rub it with a napkin after I get done eating. If I want to touch up during the day, it's really easy to do that because this is a powder form. So see, look, it's even taking away the color of my mole there, my freckle there. This is a great concealer. You need to get it to try it, and I will definitely show you guys a little bit better how it works the next time I have, some pimples on my face, which will probably be in a few days. You never know. Guys, this concealer has been in my stash for years. This has always worked for me as far as concealing zits, pimples, blemishes, anything like that. It's especially what I use to conceal pimples with. It just neutralizes the redness and it just keeps its coverage all day long. If you've never tried this and you have acne on your skin that you want to cover it up, you want to make it look better, I recommend trying this one out. Like, this is a top holy grail concealer in my stash. It's the only one I have that can really spot conceal those stubborn breakouts. Alright guys, so that wraps up today's video on my current favorite concealers. And let's be honest, some of these aren't just current. They have been current favorites for a long time. These are some of my ride or die, my holy grail concealers that are always going to remain in my stash. One last thing that I do want to give a shout out to is a relatively new product that I have been trying the last 3 weeks to a month now, and it is from Revitalash Causemetics. This is the Aqua Blur Hydrating Eye Gel and Primer. This is a primer for your eye area, so especially if you're not one who likes to wear eye cream in the morning, this is something you definitely would like to check out. This is a very hydrating, very smoothing, and also a bit of a cooling eye primer, eye cream, and it's clear. Look at it. You can barely see it right there. But this feels so smoothing on the skin, especially that under eye area. I enjoy using this. Let's see. How would I say I use it? I definitely wear eye cream, but from the time I apply my eye cream to the time that I apply my makeup, sometimes there's a good 30 minutes in between, sometimes even longer. So I will use a little bit of this, dab it on my ring finger, and just pat it all over the under eye area. Let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute. Then I go in with my makeup, concealer, so on and so forth, and everything that I have laid on top of it has looked flawless. So I've really been enjoying this one. Revitalash did send me this in PR, but I hadn't tried it before. You guys know I'm a die-hard fan of Revitalash, the Advanced Eyelash Growth Serum, as well as the Revitabrow. Those two products have and will always be in my stash because they have worked for me. And I've told you guys time and time again how great those Revitalash products have worked for me. And so far, this is working out really well for my under eye area. I guess Revitalash just knows what they're doing when it comes to our eyes. What do you guys think? Let me know if you've tried this one, or let me know if you're going to pick it up. I will have it linked in the description box of this video, but it's definitely something worth trying out, especially if you're going to be applying concealer to your under eye area, and maybe you're wondering why your under eye area doesn't look smooth and flawless and blurred. It all boils down to having a hydrated base, to having a good base to go in with for the rest of the products. So that was just something I really quickly wanted to share with you, just give a shout out to, because it is something that has been working well for me, as have all these other products, guys. It's time for me to hear from you. What did you think about these concealers? What did you think about all of the products that I shared with you today? Do you have some of them? Are some of them your holy grail? Are they your current favorites? sound off below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. You all have a great day or night, wherever it is you all are at. Stay hydrated, guys. Drink your water. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.